Hi friends, we're back again and this is The Haunted Library by Dori Hillstead Butler and we are on chapters 7 and 8. So if you haven't listened to the previous chapters, I'm just going to give you an update, just to refresh your memory on chapters 5 and 6. So in chapters 5 and 6, Beckett comes out or another ghost comes out and they're not sure who it is, so they keep looking for this ghost and they think it's Beckett, but Kaz also thinks it could be Finn. So they're looking to see if maybe that's Finn, if Finn will show himself. We don't know. So this is where we're at right now, and it's called chapter 7, The Long Night. Kaz still didn't understand what sleeping was. Obviously, it was something that took a long, long time. How long? He wondered as he floated around the upstairs turret room. Even though he just met Claire, he missed her. He misses his family even more. Kaz peered into the outside night. He wondered where Mom, Dad, Little John, and Cosmo were. Did they find their way to new haunts, or were some of them still blowing about in the outside? What about Finn and Grandmom and Grandpop? Would Kaz ever see any of them again? Back at his haunt, nighttime was when the family told stories. But here in the library, without Claire for company, Kaz didn't know what to do with himself during the dark hours of the night. Kaz drifted down the hallway. He knew Claire was behind one of those closed doors. She'd said earlier that one of those rooms was hers, but he couldn't remember which one. He heard a strange rumbling from behind one of the doors. It sounded like, well, Kaz didn't know what it sounded like. He'd never heard a sound like that before. "Hello? Claire?" he said outside the door. Claire didn't answer. Kaz heard a softer rumbling from behind the door across the hall. He swam over. "Claire," he said again. "Are you in there? What's that noise?" Kaz sucked his body in and made himself as flat as he could. He dived down and tried to swim under the door, but the floor here was different than it had been at the old schoolhouse. It was fuzzy and thick, and it stretched all the way to the bottom of the door. Kaz couldn't swim under this door. He sighed. Bored, he wafted down the dark hallway, across the, what did Claire call this room? The living room, and down the stairs. When he reached the entryway, he noticed a light coming from the non-fiction room. Didn't Claire's grandma turn out the lights when she went upstairs? Didn't turning out the lights make the library dark? Kaz went over and peered around the doorway. He saw a light shining in the corner of the room. The ghost man, Beckett, hovered near the light with a book in his hands. A solid book. Kaz stared. It wasn't easy for a ghost to hold on to a solid object. Kaz wondered how long Beckett had been doing it. And here is Beckett holding a book and reading it. "Well, are you going to stay in the doorway or are you going to come in?" Beckett asked as he reached out a ghostly hand to turn a page in the solid book. Kaz was surprised that Beckett knew he was there. "How long have you been holding the book?" he asked as he swam into the room. "About an hour," Beckett replied. "My record is an hour and a half." "About an hour? Wow." Kaz was impressed. Beckett sniffed. "Unfortunately, I can't practice during the day with all those solids coming and going. It's difficult to even read at a table during the day. That solid with the pink stripe in her hair keeps grabbing my books out from under me and putting them away." Kaz could see how that could be a problem. Beckett set his book down on the table and then glided over to Kaz. "I don't believe we've been properly introduced. I'm Beckett." He tipped his hat. "Kaz. Well, Kaz, I was a little surprised you didn't follow me back to my private haunt earlier. I don't extend an invitation to every ghost I meet, you know. Imagine if word got out that there was a secret place no solid could ever get into. I'd be overrun. But you didn't even want to join me. It's not that I didn't want to, Kaz said, lowering his eyes. It's just, well, I sort of don't like to pass through walls. You can't pass through walls? What? Beckett gaped at Kaz. I didn't say I couldn't, Kaz said. I said I don't like to. Beckett said. So you'd rather spend time with that solid girl than pass through a wall? Well, Kaz said. Actually, he would rather spend time with Claire than pass through a wall. You don't like solids much, do you? Kaz said. Nope, Beckett said, making no apologies. Kaz wasn't surprised. It was probably how most ghosts felt. Is that why you've been glowing in the library? Kaz asked. Are you trying to scare the solids away? What? I haven't been glowing in the library, Beckett said. I haven't glowed in 20 years. I don't even know if I can still do it. Really? Kaz said. Beckett shrugged. Why would I even want to? It's most distressing that solid friend of yours can see us all the time. Why would I want to make myself visible to other solids? If Beckett wasn't the library ghost, then who was? Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Okay, Kaz couldn't wait to tell Claire what he'd learned. Beckett wasn't the library ghost. Kaz swam up the stairs, across the living room, and down the hall to where the doors were closed. They were still shut. Claire must still be sleeping. Oh, is she gonna sleep all night? Kaz wondered. Probably. While Kaz floated up and down the hallway, waiting for Claire to stop sleeping, he heard a noise. It sounded sort of like solid footsteps. Downstairs, maybe even in the outside. But they were getting closer and closer. Kaz floated over to the stairs to see what was going on. The door to the outside slowly started to open, and a shadow appeared on the entryway floor. The shadow grew larger and larger and larger until the door opened all the way and Claire's mom and dad walked in. Oh, I'm so tired, Claire's mom said, closing the door behind them. It's been a long night, Claire's dad said with a yawn. He glanced toward the nonfiction room. Looks like Mother left the light on again. He walked into the room and the light went out. Hey, Kaz heard Beckett exclaim. I was using that. But of course, Claire's parents couldn't hear him. Claire's dad came back into the entryway, draped an arm over Claire's mom's shoulder, and together they tromped up the stairs. They walked right past Kaz in the hallway. Claire's dad opened one of the closet doors, but Claire's mom didn't go inside. I'll be right in, she said. I just want to check on Claire. Kaz followed Claire's mom to the next closed door, the one where he had heard the softer rumbling sound. She opened the door and Kaz floated in behind her. Claire was lying on top of a strange box, but all he could see of her was her head. A big blanket covered the rest of her. Thor, the cat, lay curled up on top of the blanket next to her. He gazed at Kaz through narrow, slitted eyes. Kaz drifted closer and saw that Claire's eyes were closed and the soft rumbling sound was coming from her nose. She's snoring. Was this what Claire meant by sleeping? Fascinating, Kaz thought. He watched Claire's mom bend down and kiss Claire's forehead, just like his mom used to do to him. So there's Claire sleeping and his mom in her mom giving her a kiss, and Kaz watching, and Thor just staring at him. But Claire didn't even seem to know her mom was there. It was like her body was turned off. Thor sat up and growled at Kaz. Kaz flew backward. "What's the matter, Thor?" Claire's mom whispered to the cat. "Do you see something out the window?" She turned and looked right through Kaz. The cat leaped down from the bed and padded out of the room. Claire's mom shrugged. Then she left too, closing the door behind her. Once again, Kaz was stuck in a room with Claire. But this time, he didn't mind. He felt less lonely when he was with Claire. And as soon as she stopped sleeping, he would tell her that he had proof that Beckett wasn't the library ghost. Ooh, okay, chapter 8, the ghost returns. Oh, this is good. "That's not proof," Claire said a couple hours later. She had finally stopped sleeping, and Kaz had just told her all about his talk with Beckett. Kaz didn't understand. "Beckett told me he hasn't been glowing in the library. He said he hasn't glowed in 20 years. He isn't even sure he can still do it. How is that not proof that Beckett isn't the library ghost?" "Because sometimes suspects lie," Claire said. "What? Why would Beckett lie?" Later that morning, Claire's grandma asked her to put books away. While Claire wheeled a cart of books from one room to another, Kaz wafted behind. "Maybe there's another ghost in this library," he said as they crossed the entryway and went to the craft room. "One who isn't Beckett, or me, or Finn." So here they are. She's putting books away. "Could be," Claire said. She took a book off her cart and placed it on the shelf. "But I think I know if there was another ghost here." "I don't know. This place is huge." Kaz stretched his arms wide. "It's almost as big as my old haunt. And you're only one person, and you can't be everywhere at once. And another ghost could stay hidden from you if he or she really wanted to." "It's possible," Claire said, "but it's also possible that Beckett lied to you and he is the one who's been glowing." Beckett charged through the wall right in front of Claire. "Are you calling me a liar?" he roared. Claire and Kaz both jumped. Beckett expanded to almost the full height of the room. "I don't glow, and I certainly don't lie." Kaz could almost see smoke coming out of Beckett's ears. Wow, Beckett's mad. All of a sudden, the library went dark, and they all heard a loud, ghostly "Ooh." Kaz and Claire looked at each other. Did you do that?" Claire asked Beckett. "Did you make all the lights go out?" "Did you see me turn out the lights?" Beckett asked. "I've been floating here right in front of you this whole time." "You still could have done it," Claire said. "I know you're mad. Don't ghosts do crazy things when they get mad?" She turned to Kaz for support. "Crazy things like make the lights go out without actually touching the light switch?" Beckett asked. "You have a lot to learn about ghosts, Missy." "Don't call me Missy," Claire said, leaning forward. "Ooh." "Look," cried a voice from the entryway. "There's the ghost." Kaz, Claire, and Beckett all hurried to the dark entryway. They saw a ghostly figure above the plant, but it disappeared before any of them got close enough to get a good look at it. Strange, Kaz thought. A ghost could stop glowing, and then any solids in the room would think the ghost had disappeared. But ghosts like Kaz and Beckett should still have been able to see a ghost when he stopped glowing. What kind of ghost could disappear in front of other ghosts? I don't know. Now, do you believe I'm not the library ghost? Beckett asked Claire. Woo! Several solid children ran to the entryway from the children's room. I think the ghost went in there, one of them shrieked, pointing at the children's room. Do you see him? Asked the teenager. No, but I hear him. Don't you? Woo! The ghostly wail indeed sounded like it was coming from the children's room. Must be a pretty sorry excuse for a ghost, Beckett grumbled as he followed Kaz and Claire into the children's room. That's one of the worst wails I've ever heard. Woo! Kaz, Claire, and Beckett looked around. The ghostly wail seemed to be coming from a large desk in the middle of the room, but Kaz didn't see any ghost. The lights came back on and Grandma Karen said, "Don't worry, everyone. The ghost is gone. Everything's fine." "I don't know what's going on here, Mrs. Lindstrom," said a solid man wearing a business suit. "But if these hauntings don't stop, we might have to close the library." "Close the library? Why?" Grandma Karen asked. "We can't have children afraid to come to the library," said the man. "I'm not afraid to come to the library," said one of the solid children. "Neither am I." "I'm not afraid of ghosts," said another child with a toothless grin. "I like ghosts." The man pressed his lips together. He looked very serious. "If these hauntings continue," he warned, "I will talk to the library board." Did you hear what that man said? Claire asked when she, Kaz, and Beckett were back in the craft room. "If the hauntings don't stop, the library might close." "Good. I hope it does close," Beckett said. "What? Why?" Claire asked. "Because then I can read my books in peace day or night without anyone picking them up and putting them away." With that, he disappeared behind the bookcase. Claire followed him. "For your information, Beckett," she called through the bookcase, "these are our books, not yours." She turned to Kaz. "If Beckett isn't glowing or wailing or whatever, we need to find out who is. We need to find the real library ghost and make him stop so that man doesn't try to close the library. Will you help me?" "Of course," said Kaz. "But how do you find a ghost that doesn't leave any clues behind? A ghost that even other ghosts can't see." "There you are," Claire's mom said as she poked her head into the craft room. Claire's dad was behind her. "Your dad and I are off to work." "Okay," Claire said. "You know, honey," Claire's mom said, lingering in the doorway, "being a detective isn't nearly as exciting as you think it is." "That's right," her dad chimed in. "Most of what we do is sit and wait for something to happen." Claire's mom kissed her on the cheek, and then she and Claire's dad left. I don't care if they won't let me help them with their detective agency," Claire said. "We've got our own case to solve." "Yes," said Kaz, drifting backward toward Claire. "And they just gave me an idea of how we might catch the library ghost." All right, friends, that's the end of chapters 7 and 8. Stay tuned for chapters 9 and 10. Who is that other ghost? I have no idea. I can't wait to find out. All right, until next time. Bye.